This is going to be a completely spoiler-free review of Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, which I saw on Monday, but the review embargo just lifted today. Now, I am a huge Mission Impossible fan, okay? I love these movies to my core. I think that not only are they some of the best action movies ever made, but I think that they genuinely stand for something incredible in Hollywood, an industry that is floundering right now. I think that the entire ethos behind the making of these movies is important and incredible. I think that the dedication to real, incredible stunts and just spectacle in filmmaking in general is not only admirable, but so important in this industry right now. If you haven't caught on to where I'm going with this after that extended preamble, it's time for me to just come out and say it. Unfortunately, I found this movie to be incredibly disappointing, and I've been bummed out about it for 2 days straight. After just having done a full series rewatch this weekend, I was riding so high. Like, I love these movies and I was so excited. And I love Dead Reckoning, okay? I was not one of those people that disliked it. I've liked all of McQuarrie's installments, honestly. This is just so tonally different, and it was so jarring, and it was so boring at times, unfortunately. To be fair, a lot of my criticisms of what goes on in this movie have been facets of previous films. It's just that everything is amped up to 11 here. Characterization, plot, stakes, in a way that just feels cartoonish. And yet there's this incredibly somber, just really dark tone hanging over everything that kind of sucks all of the joy out of the experience. Look, part of the charm of this franchise, especially in the latter half, has been that the dialogue is silly and cliched and overly expositional. It has this delight air of camp over it all, but it just didn't work for me at all in this installment because all of that was in direct opposition with everything else that was happening, which was attempting to be as bleak and deadly serious as a movie could possibly be. It really just felt like artists that had gotten too close to the work to realize that they had fully jumped the shark. And sometimes that results in a fun mess, and sometimes it's just a mess. And for me, unfortunately, this ended up being the latter. There's not a lot of humor in this, which was something that was distinctly lacking for me as something that's been a mainstay of this franchise. There's also a lot of the team is separated for most of the movie, so you don't get the wonderful chemistry between the characters. There's not a lot of the back and forth that has created some of the most delightful moments in the franchise for me. Another big thing was just that the villain, Gabriel, is just hands down, far and away, the worst villain of this franchise, and one of the worst villains that I've seen in movies in general. And it made the final confrontation so much less impactful for me because he was just an absurd character. Now, yes, this movie was incredibly disappointing for me. It genuinely bummed me out for the past couple of days because I was looking forward to this so much and I love the franchise so much. But that isn't to say that there isn't a lot of good in this incredibly messy, overly long, self-indulgent film. I don't think there's enough action in this movie, but the action that is in this movie, the major action set pieces that take place in this movie are, as is par for the course for this franchise, some of the most incredible spectacle I've ever seen in my life. And I genuinely have so much respect and admiration for the devotion to continuing that element of filmmaking. I think it's so important and really is part of the reason why film is an art form that is worthy of preservation. And I think in a film industry that feels a lot of the time like it's actively crumbling around us, that's being streamlined and commodified and corporatized, it's honestly miraculous that we have this like modern day Buster Keaton willing to do anything for the audience and for the arts. And for that alone, like it bums me out that this movie was disappointing, but there's still so much to it that I think matters and is worth celebrating. So those are my long and complicated feelings about the potential end of this franchise that I've loved for a long time. I really, really hope that people go see this movie still. I really hope that it does well at the box office. I really do think that people should make up their own minds. And I think of all people, Ethan Hunt has earned the right to ask us to trust him one last time. And I think that this movie is going to be polarizing for a lot of people, but I think there will be a lot of people who find a lot of enjoyment and catharsis out of this ending, even if it's not exactly what you might be looking for. So